Hi, and thank you. Welcome to the third session this morning from the DBCC company here. Yes, maybe I have to share my screen at first. So hopefully you can see my slides and you can see who I'm looking. Who am I? I am Alexander Klein. I'm an independent BI consultant. I do normally BI stuff with the SQL Server more than 15 years. And the last years, I have more focus on what is possible in Azure, like do BI stuff in Azure or AI features in Azure. And this is one of the reasons why I want to present this session today to you. So the next 30 minutes, we have to talk about something like service quality. What is the service quality? Then we have a look at the AI platform from Microsoft, a close look at the cognitive services, and at the end, I want to show you how I did the whole app functionality with Power Apps. So first of all, did anyone knows the SQLKellner? Maybe someone knows this smart guy. He also had a session this morning. Ben Weisman is the SQLKellner, and this is one of the reasons why I present this session. We want to monitor his quality of service when he serves some cold beer to the SQL folks. So what is service quality? If you Google, you find many descriptions, and most of them is based on your own experience. For me, the service is good, but for the next person to me, maybe they found the service very bad. So it's very subjective to measure up the quality of the service. And this is the reason why we want to say, okay, no, we don't want to use all this stuff that is very subjective. We want some objective features, like we want to use some AI functionality to do this for us. So what did we need? We need at first some AI fancy stuff. Then maybe we want to have something in Azure. Maybe we want some app or Power Apps. Yes, this is a good idea. Then how we can get the information out. Maybe we have to talk about emotions. Then we need something for analyzing. Maybe Power BI is a good solution. And here you see one of our Power Apps we did. In the middle, we see Ben Weisman with the HoloLens on his head. And on the right-hand side, you see what Ben is seeing. He sees the app, and he see in front of his sitting Oliver Engels. And he could choose some options, like I want to take a photo before I start my service, or I want to take a photo after I did the service. And then what kind of product I offered, like I offered some cold beer, I offered some nuts or some swag. And then I do a photo before and I do a photo after. And then I can read out the emotions. And then I can measure up if the emotion, if the person is happy or is it surprised or is he sad or angry. And this is the base where I can build my Power BI report for this. And this code looks like that. I split it by gender and age, and then I split it the different emotions like fear, happiness, surprise, sadness. And then you can see, okay, most of the people are happiness after the service was taken by Ben. Some are neutral, yes. So, okay, how can we do this in detail? First of all, maybe we have a close look at AI, machine learning, and deep learning. These are some, in my mind, big buzzwords. The big cloud is AI, and the next smaller one is machine learning, and the smallest one is deep learning. So if you talk to the management, talk about AI. If you talk to the developers, you can talk about machine learning or deep learning. Or in other words, if you do AI, this means raising money. Or if you talk about machine learning, this means you have to hiring developers. Okay, Microsoft offers a platform for AI functionality. This platform is divided in 3 pieces, like services, tools, and infrastructure. In services, we have the cognitive services, we have also machine learning services, and we have some Azure bot services. And if you have one of these services, then you need some infrastructure where you can store your data or where I can connect to my data. So I do BI stuff with the SQL Server. So I'm very happy to see the SQL Server Azure database as a source. Also, you can connect to a data lake store or the Cosmos DB, or you can have a look at the whole Azure Spark environment where you can connect and read and write data from. And at least you need some AI tools. So where can I build my AI functionality? Like I can use the Machine Learning Studio in my web browser, I can use some Azure notebooks, or I can do old school open a Visual Studio project and import some DLLs and then write my code in C# or Visual Basic.NET or Python or whatever. So you see, you have a lot of options where you can do this stuff with Microsoft technology. Okay, then maybe someone remembers this website, howold.net. I think it was released in 2015. At this website, you could upload an image and the website recognized the face in the image and he predict the age of the face he recognized. At the beginning, it was very funny to upload images and to see how old I was predicted. But this was the beginning of the Microsoft Cognitive Services. At Microsoft, everything has a cool project name. In this case, they started with the project name Oxford. So on what is behind this functionality? Behind there's a neural network, and a neural network, the smallest element in a neural network is here the cell, like the human brain cell. And if I want to convert this brain cell in IT, then I have 3 parts. Like I have some input, I have the threshold in the middle, and I have an output on the other hand. And what can I do with this? I can build and OR connections at multi-layer levels. So as many levels the neural network has as its genius, yes, it is at the end. And normally there are 4 main parts with neural networks. So I can do some classification, I can do regression, or I can do association, and at least the last part is clustering. Okay, here. The project Oxford from Microsoft is, Microsoft trains a neural network and for different purpose. And here, I think this is the best way. Microsoft divides the cognitive services in 5 pieces, like vision, speech, language decision, and search. And if you extend this, then you can see there are a lot of different services that I can connect to. These services are REST APIs. So I send a call to the API and I get a result in a JSON format back. For me as a developer, this is quite easy. I don't have to care about what is the perfect algorithm in behind, where can I track my training data, how long I have to train a neural network, and so on and so on. All this Microsoft do for me. And if you want to customize one of these services, like I want to train it with my own images, then you have the options for each of the 5 main parts, and there are some predefined neural networks that I can train with my own data to 100%. Okay, then we have a look at vision. Vision was the first part from the cognitive services, like the image recognition in the image I uploaded, and they predict the age. So face was the first real service of the cognitive services. Here in Vision, we can upload an image to analyze, okay, what is on the image? We can do some OCR, or we can recognize celebrities or landmarks. Here's one typical set of attributes that I get from an image. Here you can see, for me, one interesting attribute is adult content true or false? What can I do with this? Maybe if you have a huge online store with more than 10 items in it, then you can upload all your images and check against this functionality if the image is adult content true or false. Okay, it depends on what kind of images, what kind of products you sell, if it's correct that the adult content is true or false. Okay, here you can also recognize faces, grouping faces. You can set up an access control via webcam and so on. There are many possibilities. But we have to talk about emotions. So if you're not a Viking guy, like this smart guy, then yes, then we have an option to read out your emotions. With the Viking people from the northern countries, no chance. Okay, if I upload my own images, then you can see I get from the API the emotion part back. So in this photo, I was really happy, around about 95%. Okay, maybe we have to check if the cognitive services are really working. So then there are different options how we can use them. The easiest way is go on the website from the cognitive services. And normally for each service they offer, they have an online version that you can test. For us, we want to go to Vision and we want to go to our computer vision. So I want to analyze some images to check if the service really works. Here we see some images from Microsoft, so they are demo images. They should work. I want to test it with my own images. Now I can upload some interesting guy. This guy is never an employee of Microsoft, but we get some objects he recognized, and we also get some text, and at least we get also a description. So here we get a description that means Steve Jobs holding a remote control in his hand. Yeah, he recognized Steve Jobs, correct, but a remote control in his hand, yeah, it's hard to find the difference between a smartphone and remote control. So here we can look at the text. And we get the text man, human face, and also we got here remote, class, confidence, here mobile phone with the confidence of 76%, and the confidence of the remote control was 83. So this is maybe the reason why we get in the text the remote control instead of the smartphone, the mobile phone. Okay, maybe we check it with a different person. So I think anyone knows this young lady. We got the text, a close-up of Elizabeth the Queer II wearing a pink hat. Yeah, I think this is a good description. Maybe we got some more. Yes, we got here one more young lady. I don't know if you know this young lady, but this young lady is Victoria, Crown Princess of Sweden, posing in the camera. Yes, all the women are posing in the camera. If I upload the next one, I think this one. Here, me. Yes, I get some text like man, beard, jacket, and so on, and I get a text. A man wearing glasses and smiling in the camera. Yes, I'm smiling. I don't pose in the camera. So all the men are smiling and the female normally posing in the camera. You get this text back. Okay. Yes, we can say these services definitely work. So then we can move on with our slides. Yeah, the cognitive services, yes, are services based in the Azure data centers for Microsoft. This means that you have to send all your data outside your company network to the Azure data center to Microsoft. In the best case, it is the Azure data center here in Europe. In the worst case, it is the Azure data center in the middle of US. So this is one. This is why I was very happy in November 2018 that I wrote this blog post, that here they say, oh, they offer also the cognitive services in a Docker image. And with the Docker image, I get the control back over my data. I can scale up and scale down where I want. And also, I can run the Docker images in my own private company network. So nothing else has to leave out the company network of my data. Here, the services that are currently supported in Docker images, like the vision part, we have about face, we have speech and text analytics. Okay. If you run this Docker images, yes, you need 3 parameters, like I have to accept the Euler, I have to add my billing URL, and I have to add my application key. So Microsoft knows how many times this service will be called, so at the end they can send me the bill. Okay. Now, back to the how-to, the big picture at the beginning. Yes, we have AI, we have some apps, we have Azure, we have Power Apps, we have emotion. Yes, we talked about emotion. We figured out, okay, the cognitive services are working correct, and I can use them to read out the emotion part. Yeah, okay, how-to. First of all, we have to set up a Power App. And in this Power App, I can take photos. And these photos, I send it to an Azure blob. And with the help of the Logic app, I copy the images from the blob and send it to the cognitive services. And from the cognitive services, I get the information back. Okay, what are the emotions I found in the image? And this information, I want to send it to Power BI. And I also want to send it to an Azure SQL database, because if I send it to a streaming dataset in Power BI, then you have a limitation of 2 million rows. So if I send the 2 million in one row, the first row will be dropped. So if you want to analyze more than 2 million rows, then you have to also send the information to an Azure SQL table. Okay, then how to Power Apps. Yes, I have there some Power Apps, and now you can see me. This is the reason why I can't show my video to Teams, because if it's in Team, I don't get my video here in the browser for Power Apps. In this app, we have the same functionality like I showed on the slide before. We have the information. If I take the photo, is it before I start the service, or is it after I do the service? And if I do it after, what kind of product I sell? Is it some beer? Is it some nuts or some Nerdicon swags? Okay, and if I start this, I can say, okay, it's before. I have to look in the camera. I can click, and he takes the first photo. This photo he uploads to my Azure blob, so I can have a look at my Azure blob container. I have to. Not really. Okay, we try it again. The next click. Maybe we took some image after. Maybe I served some beer, and the guest was happy. So, okay. Maybe we have a look again. If he stored, yes, he stored the first image. Maybe the second image will come soon. Okay, And also we have some options like, okay, what the is this? If I don't know what is in front of me, so I can click. And he also sent the image to the cognitive services, and I get the information back, like I showed you on the website. So I get all the text, like here are person, man, wall, human face, indoor class, smiling, shirt. We got here also posing. That's interesting. And we also get some text here. So, okay, yes, this also works good. Okay, the next step is I have to send the images to the cognitive services. For this, we use a logic app. In this logic app, I have some steps. I have some timer. Then I have the functionality like I want to list all the blobs, all the files in my blob. And for all these blobs, I have to send the image to the Cognitive Services API, and then I get the result back. And the result, I wrote it in my Azure SQL database table, and at least I delete the image from the blob. So I'm very fine. And at the whole end, I have a stored procedure that splits me the information from the JSON part into the normal SQL table structure. So I think we can run this app. Yes, quite fast. Then we can have a look at our Azure Data Studio, and we can rerun our query. Yes, here are some images, and this is the JSON part that I get back from the logic app, from the cognitive services, and we can check what is in it. We go to some JSON formatter here, paste it and process, and have a look what's inside, what we got as a result back. We got some information about where are the landmarks. Not so interesting. Maybe we can collapse, and then here I get some face attributes, like also I get the information, male, oh yes, I'm quite young, perfect. And here I get the emotions back. And here I think this was one of the images I tried to smile, so I get the happiness of 65%. Maybe we can check it with the second image here. We copy and paste it. Paste again. Landmarks and okay, nearly the same values. So okay, but it still works. Okay, then we have go to our Azure Data Studio, and with the store procedure, I split it the JSON into this table. So I also get the information: is it the service before or after? What kind of product I use. I get the information about the face ID, what time I created. I also store the information, the age and the gender. And then I have the information of the emotions. So I have the anger, the fear, happiness, neutral, sadness. And this is what I'm using for the Power BI report at the end. My Power BI report contains all the information here. And to show it with the cool visuals in Power BI. Yeah, so I think this is quite easy to save the information from an image in an Azure blob, then move it to with the help of the cognitive services, send the image to the cognitive services. And at the end, I send all the information to my logic app, like here. So no, this one here. Yes, Power Apps to the Azure Blob. From the Azure Blob goes with the help of the cognitive services to the Face API, and from the Face API with inside the Logic app, I store the information in Azure SQL database, and then on top I have a Power BI report. So yes, I think this was a quick introduction how you can use AI functionality from the cognitive services to help you to find out or to measure up the service quality of some people, like the SQLKellner or SQL waiter in English, sorry. And yes, the results at the SQL conference last year in Darmstadt for Benni was very good. All the results, yeah, most of the people was very, very happy. And we expected normally that most of the male will be very happy if we offer them or serve them a cold beer. But at the end, and when we analyzed the results, we figured out all the female people at the conference was really happy about the cold beer, and the most men were happy about like the nuts or Nerdicon. This was interesting, but maybe it was, yes, it was really late when we presented in the evening at the conference, and I think the result is correct if someone don't drink no beer at first, but if someone drink 1, 2, 3 or more beer, and if I take then a photo, I think the result I get is not really perfect or correct in my mind. But yes, it is also a way to show up. Yes, I can use some functionality and some Azure services to set up this fancy stuff. With the Power Apps, yeah, be careful. If you want to share the Power App, the people who want to use the app has also to be in the same Azure Active Directory. You cannot invite external people. And if you if you use the Azure Blob as an linked service or as a connection, this is a premium feature or premium data source in the Power Apps, like the connection to the SQL Server. And for this, you have to pay for each user who want to use the app. I think it's around about €7 per month. Or you can buy per user the big license. This means I think around about 30 euros per month. Then he can use as many Power Apps as he wants with the premium features. Yeah, this is the dark side, I think, of this. But to play around, to see what is possible, what is not possible, this is definitely a good idea. I don't have to care about how I have to program an app for iOS or for Android in native, so I can use here the Power Apps. It's very, very simple with the development environment here in the browser. Everything I need is here. It's quite easy, and you don't have to not learn new languages for programming. So yes, I think I'm finished, and I say thank you. If you don't have any questions, enjoy the rest of the day, and hopefully see you soon. Thank you.